just wanted to show you guys basically kind of my plow job. You know, first job with the side-by-side plowing at a Safeway in Shelton. So I'm just going to show you. We got the loading dock, we got the whole front all cleared, we got down the aisles pretty good. Just do a quick little walkthrough real quick here so you guys can see. There's an aisle right there. This main strip was packed down so hard it was like complete ice. I'm surprised the side-by-side could even get it up. It was packed down really good. So basically, I got the handicap open too. And then here's the last aisle, basically. Because of the size of the lot, I kind of had to divide it up, you know, into basically 5 sections. So you guys can see, with the side-by-side, obviously, you can't just pick the snow up and then take it somewhere and then drop it, right? So you have to divide the parking lot up into sections, and then you got to find strategic places to push the snow, you know. So as you can see, here's one of the main sections. I pushed a lot of snow, push it all back into that back corner, and then about halfway through the parking lot, this is about halfway, I got a pile, because I mean, we're trying to do this efficiently, and if we were to push everything all the way to one side, it would just take ages to do it, right? And there's just not enough room or you know, a way to pile it all, you know. So you just kind of have to split up the piles, and so that's kind of what I did. Pretty happy with the job. For my first plow job, I'd say that's pretty good. The customer's pretty happy with it. Everybody was, you know, thanking me and stuff. You know, I thought that was kind of weird, but you know, a lot of people are thankful that we're out here plowing it, you know. So that's kind of cool. Whew, my fingers are frozen. So what are you guys up to in 2021 Snowmageddon? What are you guys up to on this fine weekend? What do you charge to do something like this? Well, it was kind of a you know, trial and error. So for this parking lot and the loading dock, I charged them $1,000 bucks. But initially it was just the parking lot, right? So that's kind of where I got them, right? So initially it was just supposed to be just the parking lot. And then the manager was like, "Hey, we need the loading dock done too," right? So when the guy called me up, okay, you gotta act like you know your stuff, even if you don't know your stuff, you know what I mean? That first interview, you gotta kind of fake it, you know what I mean? And so, this is a 40,000 square foot parking lot, right? And I definitely underbid it, right? I did not know what I was getting myself into. And so I looked up on Google, and Google said average price per square foot is, you know, should have been, you know, like 10 cents a square foot, basically, right? So theoretically I should have charged $4,000 for that. $165 to $300 an hour is the going rate for plowing. Okay, there you go. Got my truck in 4 low right now, and I got chains on. So I I really didn't have a clue. And then I'm like, well, I don't really know, man. And then he's like, well, normally it's like, you know, 300 bucks or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'll do it for 300 bucks. Right? And I get here, I'm like, oh man, I'm getting ripped off here. This is way more worth than 350 bucks, you know? And so I'm like, okay. The manager asked for the loading dock. Okay, we're gonna make our money with the loading dock. So, you know, 650 bucks for the loading dock. And I called him up before I did it though. I said, hey man, the manager wants me to do the loading dock also. That wasn't really in the beginning of the bid, so that's gonna be, you know, 700 bucks is what I told him. He's like, okay, well, you know, it's got to get done. It's got to get done. And so I said, okay, you got it. So just did that, and then so we got the loading dock and the parking lot. $1,000. I think that's a very fair price for the amount of square footage that we did. You know, 40,000 plus easily another 5,000-6,000. So right around 50,000, 45, 50,000 square feet for $1,000. I got out there at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I'm just getting done. So that's a good, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a good 4 hours, 5 hours, right? So I'm right in the price range for what plowing is, according to the guy that said it was, you know, 150 to 300. So I can still sleep at night. They still get a lot of happy people because now they can, you know, do their thing. I got cables on and they kind of plowed this road. Still kind of. I'm gonna leave them on just until I get home. I only got like 7 miles until I get home. I was gonna do some more jobs when I was out. I was gonna, you know, just take the side by side and just drive around to some place and say, hey, you know, 100 bucks I'll plow it, you know, 200 bucks I'll plow it, depending on the size. But it's a Saturday. I don't want to be out doing this anymore. You know, the kids want to have some fun. I want to be. Look at this guy. This guy just jumped into a snowbank over there. So, could I do some more plowing? Yeah, I could definitely get some more customers, but it's not really my thing, you know. After doing that job, I kind of realized freezing my fingers off, and I had a lot of breakdowns, guys, on this plow job with this side-by-side, so it was kind of a learning curve. The winch cable broke. How many times did it break? 3 times. It broke 3 times. And that's mainly because it was damaged from us using it prior, right? And then I also sheared off the angle pin. Oh, wrong way. Sorry, I accidentally pressed that. I sheared off the angle pin, which is basically the pin that determines the angle of the snowplow blade, right? We hit something. I'm thinking it was part of like a metal curb, or not a metal curb, but like a cement curb. And I had the blade angled, and it just kind of sheared it right off. So I got out my trusty dusty Stanley ratchet wrench, and jammed that in the positioner hole for the pin, because that's the only thing that I had that would fit in that hole, and is strong enough that it wasn't going to shear off, right? I was thinking like, okay, what do I got that's about the size of my pinky, you know, that I can jam in there and it ain't gonna fall through or ain't gonna fall out. And so my first idea was, okay, I got a pin for my hitch. I'll take that and I'll try that. It was too fat, wouldn't fit in there. So then I'm like, looking through my stuff, and I'm like, man, I don't have anything that's like this size, and I can't just drive off, you know, and go get a pin this big, right? So I'm like, okay, think out of the box, Brian. What would be strong enough? I'm like, a wrench. I'll just get my ratchet wrench. And so the cable had broke for the wind. Did it break? Oh yeah, we were winching my grandpa's car onto the trailer, and so the cable had broke prior to this whole event, right? So, whoa, okay, we're going crazy over here. There we go. That was kind of sideways. So I had already put what are they called? It's like, you use it to make a loop in a cable. It has like a U-bolt and then a plate, basically, and you squeeze the cables together. You loop it and then you squeeze it. But anyways, I used, I had that already on there because the cable broke prior, right? If that would have broken without like me knowing, like if that would have not broken earlier this week, and I wouldn't have had that thing on there, I would have had to have called my wife to go get a cable clamp, or I would have had to drive to Ace to get a cable clamp. So those are just like some things that I learned, you know, some things you want to have spare when you're doing plowing, like with the side-by-side. You got to be able, and you got to be able to improvise. I mean, those are key things. Yeah, sorry guys, the stream is kind of iffy because I'm out here in the middle of nowhere in Shelton, right? So bear with me on that. I don't have a plow on my pickup. I use the side-by-side plow. But now that I've got some experience, out here, practical to have a pickup plow than a side-by-side plow, because you don't have to load up your trailer to get to where you're going. Although out here I could probably get away with driving my side-by-side into town. I could probably get away with it. In a lot of places in America you can get away with that. I mean, when there's this much snow out and you got to plow, like the police officer's like, hey man, you do your thing, you're helping everybody out, go do it, you know, go get it. So there's that. But a pickup plow would be nice, but at the same time, the maneuverability of the side-by-side plow, not more maneuverability. Those things can turn on a dime, right? And think about it like this also, you know, with your side-by-side, they basically all come 4x4 and a locker. Like if they don't have a locker, like I'll be surprised. You know, most side-by-sides come with lockers on them. And so my pickup truck don't have a locker. To put a locker on, it's like $2-3 grand or something like that, you know, or maybe it's cheaper, I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at those. But to make the pickup as effective as a side-by-side, it might take some doing. Like, I don't know though, I've never plowed with the pickup, so I can't really say, but that's what my guess would be. Very fun day though. I got to use the plow on the side-by-side for my driveway, and then I just plowed to Safeway. And the cool thing is, guys, I didn't even advertise, like literally almost nothing about me having to plow, right? And Advanced Maintenance Services contacted me. They must have found me on Google or Facebook page. They had to have looked at my Facebook page, or they seen me on YouTube. Those are the only two places. because, or Instagram. But I haven't paid to advertise any of that. I've just done organic posts. Is on my Facebook or something, and they reached out. They're from California, whoever it was. So, you know, so there's that. I got lots of pictures, so happy with that. Oh, another thing that happened, I freaking ran into my mailbox getting out of my driveway today, so I gotta fix that later. That sucks. I can't really take a left-hand turn out of my with the gooseneck on. It's just not, it's too tight. Bump that. I probably broke it. I don't know. I gotta look at it, see what it looks like. But I'm pretty sure I broke it. So that sucked this morning. But other than that, you know, it's better to save up. You know, we got through it. So there. When I sent him the invoice, I put upon completion on it. So yeah, I seen that, Austin, about the guy who made 40 grand in a month or whatever. I did see that. It's definitely doable if you're a hustler and you want to be out in the snow. But I kind of just did it mainly for, you know, a little bit of spending cash. I'm not a big snowplower guy. Like, this was literally my first snowplow job I've ever done in my life. Like, I plowed my own driveway, and then I went and plowed to Safeway. So, it's not, plowing does not, so. The side-by-side plow, I don't have a plow for the pickup. There you go, Chris. I turned the vent off. Remember, if ice melt gets hard to find, you can use water softener. Crystals is the same thing, just half price. That's funny, Blake. Water softener? That's funny. Yeah, that means don't buy ice melt, buy the water softener first, in my book. You know, unless it's harder to get or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was a good day. I'm happy with, you know, even though I had a lot of trials, a lot of obstacles, we got through it, got the job done, sent the invoice off. Oh yeah, they're both rock salt. So I can see it paying off your second or your third year a lot easier than in your first year, especially in Western Washington, where it snows like once really good, like enough to where you can get some business plowing. The rest of the time you're not going to get a lot of business plowing because it melts so fast, you know what I mean? So, and there's not a lot of people that do it too. So, you know, if you're ready, willing, and able, you can charge a premium for it, because not a lot of people are set up to plow in Western Washington, because, like I said, it only snows like 1 week in a year. But when it does snow,